Hey, real estate nerds, this is Alex Yoder with Pro Tip Tuesday, my favorite day of the week. And today we are going to talk about Colorado Springs trash services, a thrilling topic, but it's an important one. You know, we want to know as landlords what's going on with trash in our community, kind of where the deals are at, and who's operating in our marketplace. So I have the privilege of having Chad Mason with Infinite Disposal. Chad, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Yeah. So I wanted to have you on the show here to just give us the rundown a little bit about what trash services kind of look like in Colorado Springs. Sort of who are the players in town? And I, of course, would love for you to share about Infinite Disposal and kind of what's happened. Because I know that some of these smaller companies have kind of been bought out by larger national companies, and kind of for us landlords, knowing who's involved really helps us kind of refer tenants, you know, to good trash companies. And then for those of us who have like multifamily properties, you know, where do we get reasonably priced dumpsters and that kind of stuff. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to just give you the floor. So maybe tell us who you are and maybe dive into some of that.
Absolutely. So my name's Chad Mason. I've been in the trash and recycle industry in the Pikes Peak region for the last 20 years. I've pretty much worked for everybody that's here. Last 6 years I've been with Springs Waste Systems. 5 years prior to that, I was with Best Way Disposal. And then prior to that, I was with Waste Management for a very short period of time. And then I also worked in the Denver market as well. What we've seen literally in the last 10 years of the 20 years I've been in this market is a lot of mergers and acquisitions of the national and international companies coming into our marketplace. For example, GFL has recently come into our market. They bought out Best Way Disposal. They bought out Tri-Lakes Disposal and Monument. And the rumor has it now that sometime in this year in Q2 or Q3, they're going to be buying out portions of Waste Management. And so they're a Canadian company out of Winnipeg, Canada. And they started as a recycling company and now have dipped into the trash business. They're backed by Canadian Oil and Canadian water rights on Indian reservations. So they've got deep pockets and a lot of market share in the Southwest United States. And then Waste Connections, which is also a national company, they have a training ground here in Colorado Springs. They're only in primary and secondary markets like Denver and Colorado Springs. They just recently bought out Springs Waste Systems here in Colorado Springs, where I recently worked. Yeah. And they're trying to get market share as well. So that's kind of what's happening in our marketplace. A lot of mergers and acquisitions. You know, I don't want to go political here, but part of the new Green Deal is to have, you know, less service providers, less trucks on the streets. And there's been kind of a shift in recycle as well. So part of that shift is that, for example, on the residential side is they want larger totes, less frequency of pickup. So for recycle on the residential side is, instead of having a 65-gallon tote, you're going to have a 96-gallon tote. And instead of that being serviced once a week, it's going to be every other week. And that is a mandated legislation that's going to be coming to us sometime in this next year for the future. And so we're trying to get ahead of it as a company in Infinite Disposal.
So trash pickup is going to look a little bit different here if that legislation or when that legislation goes through fully.
Absolutely. Colorado Recycle Coalition is kind of pushing it hard as well to for lots of different reasons: safety on the streets, less trucks, lower emissions into our atmosphere, and trying to you know, teach and educate people to be green and be better stewards of what they're throwing away versus what they can, you know, recycle, reuse, and repurpose. So we're trying to be proactive, get ahead of it, educate now, so that when it does come, we're we're within the law and doing things right. So,
Yeah.
I left Springs Waste right at the end of the year. Myself and some of our upper management were kind of squeezed out with salary reductions,
Mm.
and I joined Infinite Disposal. Infinite Disposal is a sister company of Materials Management Inc. Materials Management Inc. has been in business for 27 years in the Pikes Peak region, doing business as Teller County Waste, Chaffee County Waste, Mr. Potts Portable Toilets, and Mule Creek Gravel. Infinite Disposal is another DBA off of Materials Management Inc.
Hmm.
And we are only going to be in the Pikes Peak region. So not in Denver, not in Pueblo, only in El Paso and Eastern Teller County. And we will be full service. So doing full service residential, full service commercial, full service construction roll-offs, and full service portable toilets. We've decided to stay out of medical waste and bloodborne pathogens. That's something that we just choose not to do at this time, which rounds out the five levels of full service. But what we're basically doing, Alex, is we're going to take a hybrid. We're taking the best of the old and putting it into the new. We're going to be a hybrid of the old best way service model, speed, service, and commitment to our clients, with great local communication. Your money is going to stay here. It's not going to Canada or Sunrise, Florida. And we're going to adopt the old Springs Waste flat rate pricing model. So typically what that's going to, all those costs are going to be built into one low, affordable, flat, low rate price.
Mm.
And that'll be billed monthly. And, there will be no fuel or landfill or administrative or environmental fees on top of that. All the cost to run a truck, pay a driver, and to maintain a truck and to make a little bit of profit will be built into that. And so what you'll see is we'll guarantee that rate for a year. We'll do a minimal 4% increase in year 2 and 3 of a standard 3-year contract, to keep up with the inflation. Fuel's going to go through the roof here in the next 4 years. Fuel costs. The landfills are now all monopolized by the two nationals and Waste Management and Waste Connection.
So let's talk about that for a minute. I don't think most people realize that all of the trash companies in El Paso County are basically using this landfill.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So you're doing contracts and the kind of the negotiation of that contract, and then, like you said, the gas prices. Those are the two biggest things influencing your rates or any trash company's rates.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one thing that before I made the jump from, Springs Waste / Waste Connections over to Infinite Disposal is I said to him, I said, boy, I hope you guys have your fuel providers and your landfill contracts in place, because if you don't, they're going to squeeze you out, because prices are going up on both of those. And we will be dumping at Waste Connection Squirrel Creek down in Fountain. We have a long contract with them. We also have a long contract with our fuel provider. So we're in pretty good shape for the long term with the future with our contracts. We have a ton of experience, 27 years of experience. We have a lot of drivers and staff that have worked for both Best Way and Springs Waste wanting to work for us, because we are family owned and operated. We do offer great customer service. We do offer the ability to give that speed, service, and commitment, be there for people when they're an issue, fix issues quick. And at the end of the day, we're saving people money and giving them great service, and that money stays local. It's not going out of the country or to the East Coast.
Right. And that's kind of what got us talking more too, Chad, is like when Springs Waste, I heard from you that they were selling. I actually posted on the landlord forum on Facebook about that, and I got it mixed up because I can't keep track of who's buying who, and ended up kind of having to correct that post. So Waste Connections picked up Springs Waste, but Springs Waste, I was kind of just a big fan of, a big fan of kind of that locally owned, small town, affordable, but quality service option, as opposed to sort of a large monopoly that's buying everybody up, So that's why, we're going to be referring our trash services by and large to Infinite. And so you're basically, just to recap, you're going to be the only locally owned and operated. Are there a couple other smaller players?
Yeah. So let me reiterate that. we'll be the only full service locally owned and operated. And when I mean full service, that is residential, commercial, and construction.
Okay, because there are guys that do
There's
like dumpsters and stuff.
right there are 10 roll off haulers in town that all they do is roll off. There are 3 portable toilet service providers that all they do is portable toilets. There are some mom and pops that are still just doing residential only or just commercial only. So we will be the only full service that does all 4 of those big things: residential, commercial, construction roll-offs, and portable toilets. So
Gotcha.
so that's kind of what separates us from those that just do one line. The other thing that will set us apart from these nationals, Alex, is that we're going to be flexible with service agreements or contracts. The standard commercial contract is a 3-year. When we do HOAs, the standard is a 1-year. So we're going to do 1 years for those HOAs. We'll even do 1 year for commercial. What I tell people is do the 3-year because we can guarantee that rate for 1 year. And then it caps you on those minimal 4% increases in years 2 and 3. Not that that's going to happen every time, but we know that now that the pipeline is shut down and now that the only oil and gas that we're pumping is going into our reserves, and we know fuel is going to be going up, we have to adjust for that to stay in business. So, but as far as contracts go, we want to give such great service and have such great communication and relationships with our folks that they don't want to leave us. They want to stay. They're getting that affordable flat rate. The monthly billing's consistent. It's not adjusting every month like it does with the Waste Connections and the Waste Managements. And, at the end of the day, they're not, corporate America with a GFL or
You're not trying to fund a huge corporate empire, right?
Exactly. We're not here to build stock holders portfolios. We're here to give great service, build relationships, save people money, and keep that money local.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't know anybody. I've never met anybody that is more knowledgeable than you on all things waste. So I commend you for being a master of your trade, man. And it's very, very grateful to have you on today and to kind of give us the rundown of what to expect in our market. We need good quality people like you. So thanks for continuing to keep at it and kind of working with Infinite now to bring us another local option here for landlords in Colorado. So.
Well, I appreciate you not only being a good friend through NARPM and some of the other organizations we're in, but you've been a great strategic partner of ours for many, many years. And I look forward to that continuing.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, brother. We'll see you.
All right. Appreciate your time. Thank you.